Okay, this is something related to the climate change and environment. Okay, so we talked about the various schemes, initiatives, especially recycling initiatives, international initiatives, the India's commitments at the international level, especially the survey started publishing the role of financial institutions in the climate change since last 2 years. You may get a question, role of financial institutions in climate change. Okay, so you have to write clearly specific SEBI points, RBI points. If you don't read this, no, I know what you will write. Okay, so you have to write these specific points. After writing these specific points, you can write any point if the time permits and if your pen permits. Okay. Okay. So now next one is next chapter, agriculture. Next chapter, agriculture. See, the next 3 chapters are agriculture, industry, services. These 3 chapters you should, okay, agriculture is important, but industry and services, no, you should not focus much, just have a very peripheral idea. They'll simply give the statistics, how much production and all. That is not useful, but whereas when it comes to the agriculture, you are all aware that out of 9 questions in mains, 4 questions from agriculture, and in prelims also agriculture is having importance. You have to read this chapter clearly, first page to last page, this chapter. Okay, very, very important. Anyway, I think you are having lot of idea on this subject, but it's an economic survey, it gives some updated data, so that is why I am showing. Okay. Despite COVID-19 shock, agriculture and allied sector shows a resilient growth. 16, 17, how much? Because of, on this lower base, definitely it will be 6.8. Okay, 6.8, 6.6, 2.1. Here COVID-19. Okay, after this. Okay, here in between. 5.5, 3.3, 3.0. So in the last 6 years, its average 4.5. That was the number that we already learned. Okay. Indian agriculture sector has been growing at an average annual growth rate of 4.6% during the last 6 years. 6 years means they have conveniently taken 6 years, no? Because these 2 years is highest growth. Then what is the average of last 4 years or 3 years? It is something around 3 to 4%. But anyhow, they have taken a convenient time period. This is what economy. Okay, your opposition leader says that agriculture is growing at 3%. Your finance minister says that the average in the last 6 years is 4.6%. Okay, that is why a lot of people don't talk much on this economy in the parliament. Okay, anyhow. And again, when you are writing answer also, you must prepare for both. If they are giving the question, if they are asking the positives, you have to project it in a positive way. If they are asking in a negative critical analysis, you must be in a position to project it in a critical way. So that is important. Okay. The export in 2020-21, exports of agriculture and allied products from India grown by 18% over previous year. During 2021-22, agricultural exports has reached an all-time high of $50.2 billion. Agricultural exports all-time high, $50.2 billion. Suppose you are writing about exports, international scenario is not good, our exports are reducing, current account deficit is having a problem. Yes, there is a sector called agriculture. There is a ever-time demand for the agriculture product. India is a leading exporter. Recently, we have reached the highest amount of exports last year according to economic survey. What are the steps taken by the government of India for improving agriculture? You are all aware, improvement in crop and livestock productivity, diversification towards higher value crops, better resource efficiency, enhanced cropping intensity. I think cropping intensity, I don't know whether you remember it or not. If you provide more irrigation facilities, the same land will be cultivated twice. If you are cultivating twice, crop intensity will grow. improvement in real prices received by the farmers, government is saying, shift from farm to non-farm occupation as being significant source of growth, minimum support price to secure the price at 1.5 times the all India weighted average cost of production, you are well aware. Schemes and price measures to focus on high value added crops such as oil seeds, incentive for crop diversification through price policy measures, that means for other crops also they are increasing the MSP, but you are all aware MSP alone cannot lead to diversity, there is another mechanism that you are aware, but anyway government is giving. Improvements in agricultural marketing and by enhancing the resource use efficiency etc. Promote farmer producer organization, encourage crop diversification, creation of agriculture infrastructure fund, Pradhana Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi. Okay, these are all explanatory, you are all aware, so I no need to discuss all these things again. Certain challenges, yes, though we are having these many schemes and all these things, but some challenges are there. What are the challenges? Diverse impacts of climate change. Yes, because of climate change, lot of impacts are there. It's not only climatic impact, it's marketing conditions, people food habits may change, productivity may come down, nutritional value may come down, you may not get the credit properly. Okay, they are all the reasons. Okay, diverse impacts of climate change, you are all aware. Next, fragmented land holdings. Okay, suboptimal farm mechanization, yes, you are aware. Low productivity, you can understand. Disguised unemployment, you can understand. Rising input cost, you can understand. Okay, either it can be fertilizer or any cost involved in it. Just note it down, they are important. Okay, anyway, I have shared, no? Crowding in of private investments in agriculture. This is the government spending, this is the private spending. In terms of percentages, in terms of percentage. You can't try anything like government investment is consistently increasing or decreasing. It's something growing at 4.3%, 4.3, 4.9, 4.7. When it comes to the private crowding, I think in the last 3 years it is doing good, but otherwise it is also having fluctuations. India's electricity consumption in agriculture increasing, good sign. Okay, 1 kilowatt hour is 1 unit, am I right? 1 kilowatt hour is 1 unit. Then you can see how many units of power that we are consuming. Okay, they have given in gigawatt hour, 1000 gigawatt hour, not even gigawatt hour. Okay, you can. Consistently it is, okay, here no. Yes, okay, but it's very difficult. You can say like consistently increasing. Okay. Sustained increase in food grain production in India. Yes. What is the level of food grain production? How much? 315.7 million tons. I think when I have told you, I told you around 310. 310 or some. Now the estimate is 315.7 million tons. Oil seeds production, how much? Oil seed, pulses and oil seeds, that side. 30, 35, okay, 30, in between 35 and 40. In between 35 and 40. Million tons. Million tons. Pulses. 25 around? Around 25. Oil seed production consistently increasing in India. From 17, 18. Even from 16 also. Am I right? This one. But whereas when it comes to the pulses, from 2018-19 only. 2018-19 only. This was an year where we faced lot of inflation in pulses. And your Prime Minister in his Man Ki Baat, every time he used to talk about only pulses. grow pulses, it is very easy, you no need to have lot of mechanization is required, even without water it can grow, it's a kharif crop, please grow. Okay, but anyhow, after that successfully, and there is no inflation in pulses. Okay, if you next year they have, but this year there is no high inflation in pulses. See, again, you must be very careful. Every year there is an increase in prices. That is, if it is growing at a 4%, 5%, 6%, it cannot be said to be inflation. If it is growing beyond the 6%, that is concerning us, because a minimum amount of inflation is always required. That is 4 plus or minus 2. Anyhow, okay, is it clear? 315.7 million tons. And pulses and oil seed, this is only first advanced estimates, and another advanced estimates will be given later. Because the final, see, you are growing the crop now. This is in the month of March, no? Your financial year ends with March 31st. Now all rice and wheat will get harvested. Now some of the crop will be harvested in the April also. April in the sense April 10, 15 up to that. Once we started procuring, then you will come to the final number. You can't procure everything, but to get the final numbers it will take another 3-4 months. Maybe in the August you will get the final numbers. Okay, but otherwise 315. Minimum support price for selected Kharif and Rabi crops. Tell me which crop is having highest MSP? Moong dal. Moong means dal. Dal. Parappu. Parappu, no? Parappu. 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 So, Parappu. Okay. Cotton, soybean, groundnut, urad, tur, maize, paddy. Okay. Take the case of all the MSP and all the prices, anyway they will increase. They can't reduce the MSP, no? Consistently increase. Continued increase in institutional credit to agriculture sector. This also will continuously increase. Institutional credit means, I told you, no, Government of India will instruct the banks to give the sufficient amount of loans to the agriculture. Okay. Every time after presentation of the budget, some students used to come to me and ask, sir, finance minister announced that let it be 15 lakh or 20 lakh should be given to the farmer. Who will give it? Your budget itself is 45 lakh. In that, finance minister is saying like 20 lakh should be given to the farmer. It is not a free money. That is something altogether different from the budget. It is simply an oral instruction given to the banks to increase a loan to that extent. But anyhow, okay, 18.6 lakh crore. There is a modified interest subvention scheme, MISS, to provide short-term credit to the farmers at a subsidized interest rate. Under this scheme, short-term agricultural loan up to 3 lakh is available at a 7% per annum to farmers engaged in agriculture and allied activities, including animal husbandry, dairying, poultry, fisheries, etc. Additional 3% subvention for the prompt repayment is also given to the farmers for the prompt and timely repayment of loans. Therefore, if a farmer repay his loan on time, he gets credit at a 4% per annum. Normally, the interest rate is normally 9%. For farmers, they will give it 7%. If you are paying promptly, there is a 3% subvention and you have to pay only 4%. Okay? Modified interest subvention scheme. Last, I told you, actually it was, earlier it was no, when interest rates were high, it was 9, they have brought it to 7. But I told you during the COVID-19 time, interest rates have reduced. Then they have reduced it to 7 itself. Okay. Chemical free India, organic and natural farming. Organic and natural farming. Organic and natural farming provides chemical fertilizers and pesticides free food grains and other crops improve the soil health, reduces the environmental pollution. Self-explanatory. It reduces your investment, it improves the soil health, and it reduces the environmental pollution also. India has how many farmers? 44.3 lakh organic farmers. Highest in the world. See, when number is high, automatically highest. That too 50% of the people are in agriculture. Obviously the number is high. And about 50, and suppose if you are writing about organic farming, no, you write the number of farmers are highest in India, those who are cultivating organic farming. Okay. And about 59.1 lakh hectare area was brought under organic farming. Okay. 44.3 lakh organic farmers, 59.1 lakh hectare area was brought under the organic farming. Sikkim voluntarily adopted going organic. It became the first state in the world. First state. See, lot of achievements are there. First one is highest number of farmers. The first full organic state in the world, including Tripura and Uttarakhand have set similar targets. We don't know when they will achieve, but Sikkim achieved it. Tripura and Uttarakhand have set the target. What are the schemes? Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana and Mission Organic Value Chain Development for Northeastern Region since 2015 through cluster or farmer produce organization formation. So through all these things they are promoting the organic farming. Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana is being implemented in a cluster mode. Simply, sir, I am having the 2 acres of land, give me the subsidy, I will turn it into organic. No, this whole scheme is implemented in a cluster mode. I told you cluster means group of people. What is the minimum area? 20 hectare. 20 hectare. Per hectare, how much financial assistance? 50,000 rupees. For 3 years is provided. 50,000 rupees per hectare for 3 years, not per year 50,000 for 3 years. You have to divide 50 into 3 years. Otherwise, it's better to get 1,50,000 instead of doing farming. Okay, out of this 30,000 given as an incentive for organic inputs provided directly through DBT. Okay. Remaining thing, that Mission Organic Value Chain Development for Northeastern Region is dedicated to promote organic farming of niche crops of Northeast. So there is a specific focus on Northeastern India because they don't use much fertilizers. No, it's very easy for them to convert it into organic farming. That's why there is a specific emphasis in the Northeastern region. Northeastern region. Promotion of natural farming began in 2019-20 when Bharatiya Prakritik Krishi Paddhati, a sub-scheme of Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana, was launched to assist the farmers in adopting traditional indigenous practice for encouraging all forms of ecological farming, including zero budget natural farming. See, one thing you need to understand, technically I think you might know the difference. Organic farming means instead of using the synthetic fertilizers, you will use the organic fertilizers. Zero budget natural farming means you don't use any fertilizer. You don't use any fertilizer. You even don't go for a tillage also. Okay. Simply you will go for sowing. After that you will harvest. Again after that you will go for sowing. So that is natural farming or zero budget natural farming. Okay. In organic farming, no, you will use, but you will use only organically made. Okay. The scheme focuses on capacity building, training, hand holding and the on-field demonstration of natural farming through champion farmers. Champion farmer means the one who succeeded. The one who succeeded. Instead of farming, he can go and he can guide his fellow farmers across the country. Some farmers are doing like this only. So they will do it for 3-4 years. After that they will get some certification. Their duty is only to give the interviews to the media. Everyone, one day someone will come, they will go to the seminars and all. Even one farmer from Hyderabad, Modi has said it in Man Ki Baat. So under Bharatiya Prakritik Krishi Paddhati, 4.09 lakh hectares of land have been brought under natural farming in 8 states. Your Kerala is also there. Nice. It will be everywhere. Okay. Other important initiatives in agriculture. First one, PM Kisan. Self-explanatory, that's why I have not written anything. You know what is PM Kisan. Next one, Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. Agriculture Infrastructure Fund is a financing facility operational from the year 2020-21 to 2030-33 for the creation of post-harvest management infrastructure and community farm assets with benefit including 3% interest subvention and credit guarantee support. All these things together you call it as Agricultural Infrastructure Fund. For that, Government of India is collecting agricultural infrastructural cess. Agriculture infrastructural cess. So for creation of the post harvest infrastructure, community farm assets like tractors, harvesters, because one individual farmer cannot purchase, no, and that 3% interest subvention and credit guarantee support. Next scheme, Pradhana Mantri, you are all aware, so I am not explaining. Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture, MIDH. The scheme is to promote the horticulture covering fruits, vegetable, root, tuber crops, spices, flowers, plantation crops, etc. It was an old scheme introduced in the year 14-15. The interventions include introducing improved variety of quality seeds, incentive for plantation crop, cluster development, post-harvest management. Okay? Post-harvest management, cluster development, incentive for plantation crop. Next scheme, National Agriculture Market ENAM scheme. Next, Climate Smart Farming Practices. Climate Smart Farming Practices. This is a slowly gaining acceptance with farmers using clean energy sources like solar for irrigation. The farmers have been incentivized to transfer electricity generated through solar to the local grid. Smart farming also enable the crop diversification, which will help the farmers reduce their dependence on monsoon for water. Smart farming is different, climate smart farming is different. So climate smart farming is you have to do the farming in such a way that it should not emit emissions, it should not use the sources which will emit the emissions. That means you are not supposed to use the regular power, you have to use the only solar power. And also you have to go for crop diversification. You have to go for crop diversification. You should not use too many fertilizers which will pollute the environment. So that is climate smart farming practices. Climate smart farming practices. What is this scheme where you will install the solar panels and kusum? Okay. International Year of Millets, our traditional staple and healthier alternatives. And Finance Minister called it as Sri Anna in the budget. Okay. Now when you are writing the answer, no, instead of always writing the millet, if you write Sri Anna, no, you will score lot of marks. Okay. Because this is what government has coined. Okay, but don't directly write Sri Anna. Write millet, in bracket you write first Sri Anna, later you start writing Sri Anna. Otherwise, he don't understand what answer that he has written. The question is about millet, he is writing about Anna. Anna means rice, no? Okay. Okay, you are all aware that United Nations General Assembly has declared year 2023 as the International Year of Millets in the year 2021 with the initiative of India. there was a video on millets, you just watch it. That gives lot of information than this. Anyhow, it has high nutritional value, climate resilient, and aligned with several UN Sustainable Development Goals. So, lot of sustainable development goals are achieved with this, okay, because you can reduce the pollution, you can reduce the water usage, you can enhance the nutritional value, you can enhance the health of the women, and also farmers is not there in sustainable development goals. Specifically farmers is there, no. So you may get a question like this: how millets will help us to achieve the sustainable development goals? So you have to take up that out of 17, how many are directly and indirectly linked to these millets? On that points you have to write: pollution, water efficiency, food security, nutritional security, okay? That is how you need to. Women. These are also important by virtue of their mammoth potential to generate livelihood, increase farmers' income, ensure food and nutritional security all over the world. Okay? Fine. India produces how much? 50.09 million tons out of the total 315 million tons. Out of the total 315 million tons, 50.9 million tons millets we will produce, which accounts for 80% of Asia's millets, 20% of the global millets. 20% of the global millets, 80% of the Asia's millets. The global average yield, how much? 1229 kg per hectare, whereas in India average yield is 1239 kg per hectare. That means the average yield in India is high compared to that of world in case of millets. In India, millets are primarily kharif crops. Primarily it is a kharif crop. That doesn't mean that again in India millets are grown in kharif only. Wrong. Kharif only is wrong. Majorly kharif crop. Mostly grown in rain-fed condition, requiring less water and agricultural input than the other staple crops. You don't require much water. You don't need to use fertilizers also, pesticides also. Simply it will grow. Okay? Highly environment friendly. Given the nutritional value of the millets, Government of India notified millets as Nutri cereals in April 2018. That means these are the cereals with high nutritional value. In the year 2018, they have declared. Even under the National Food Security Mission, do you know National Food Security, not National Food Security Act, National Food Security Mission is to enhance the production of the cereals, millets and pulses in India, and under that we have given priority even to the millets also. India has more than 500 startups working in the millet value chain, while Indian Institute of Millet Research has incubated 250 startups under the Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana. Okay, and also remunerative approach for agriculture and allied sector rejuvenation. Raftar, you call it as Raftar. Okay, RKVY Raftar. And if you go to the supermarket nowadays, you are finding more millet products than the cereal products. Okay, because food habits are getting changed. And you can expect a question on millets. Okay, very, very important. Though the crop sector is still the major contributor to the agriculture GVA, the livestock sector is catching up. GVA, where is agriculture? How much contribution? 55.1% of agriculture GVA. 55.1% of agriculture GVA. In my state, livestock is contributing more to the whole agriculture and allied sector. In my state, livestock is contributing more. Crop is there, but livestock number is high. 55.1%. And I don't know about Kerala. Just get it, okay? 55.1%. But observe the share of crops in agriculture GVA is declining continuously. That means we are not producing enough crops. People are other. That means the livestock and which one is growing? Livestock is growing. Livestock is growing. That is the conclusion that you have to draw. 30% is livestock. Forestry and logging is around some 8%. Fishing and aquaculture is less. Fishing and aquaculture is less, unfortunately. It is also, it's a stagnation. Okay? Allied sectors, animal husbandry, dairying, fisheries, catching up in recent years. The allied sectors of Indian agriculture, livestock, forestry and logging, fishing and aquaculture are gradually becoming sector of buoyant growth and potential source of better farm income. So buoyant growth in the sense as GDP is growing, along with the GDP these sectors are also growing and also becoming the potential source for better farm incomes. Okay. Next, its contribution to the total agriculture GVA at constant prices has increased from 24.3% in 14-15 to 30.1% in 2020-21. So allied sectors contribution is increasing. Next, higher growth in allied sector compared to the crop sector has obvious implication in terms of increasing importance of the farmers in total agricultural GVA. So in allied sector the growth is very high. In allied sectors together the growth is very high. Agriculture just now you have seen it is 4.6%. In that compared to the livestock, compared to the crops, the allied sectors growth is very high. Okay. The dairy sector is the most critical component of the livestock sector, employing more than 8 crore farmers directly. Dairy sector. Okay, you are all aware what is dairy. India ranks first in the milk production in the world. It ranks third in the egg production and 8th in the meat production in the world. 1, 3, 8. Okay. Some schemes. Animal Husbandry Infrastructure Development Fund. Okay. So if you don't remember any scheme, just put that and write Infrastructure Development Fund. For agriculture Infrastructure Development Fund. Let it be for telecom sector infrastructure development. Because this government is talking more about infrastructure, no? Definitely there might be one or some other schemes on infrastructure. Okay. Next one. National Livestock Mission. The scheme focuses on entrepreneurship, development and breeds improvement in poultry, sheep, goat, piggery, including feed and fodder development. Okay, self-explanatory. Livestock health and disease control. Again you can understand. Okay, scheme to supplement the state or UT government. This is to supplement the state or UT government efforts towards the preventing, controlling and containing the animal disease of economic and zoonotic importance by vaccination. I think this is very important for your state, no? All new viruses will emerge in Kerala only. Okay, anyhow. National Animal Disease Control Planning. So to control foot and mouth disease in cattle and brucellosis by completely vaccinating the cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat and pig population against the foot and mouth disease. This is only for specific disease. Next, Pradhana Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana to drive the sustainable and responsible development of the fisheries sector while ensuring socio-economic development of the fishers, fish farmers and fish workers. Okay. A dedicated fisheries and aquaculture infrastructure development fund. Okay. So was established for 5 years from 2018-19 to 22-23. You can understand what is that infrastructure development fund. Okay. So for writing mains answer, you don't need to worry much. Okay, because you know a lot of schemes. If you don't know any scheme, you can write infrastructure development scheme. Okay. This is again important. Sahakar-Se-Samriddhi, from cooperation to prosperity. So you are all aware, union government has started a cooperation ministry. They are focusing more on this principle of cooperation. In the budget also, finance minister announced promotion of multi-purpose cooperatives. Anyway, I will explain when I am explaining the budget. And you may get a question on cooperation. Cooperation is one area, millet is another area, elephant is one more area. Okay. Last year I have given 40 questions, 40 or 45 questions for mains answer writing program students. In that 4 appeared in mains, not directly, but if you are able to write answer to that question, you can write the answer to the original question. It's very difficult to get the same wording, but the concept. So that is why sometimes my guess will work. Okay. Even Swami used to say. Okay, anyhow. Sahakar-Se-Samriddhi. There are 8.5 lakh registered cooperatives in the country, having more than 29 crore members, mainly from marginalized and lower income group in the rural area, and 98% of the villages are covered by PACS. 98% are covered by PACS. And 8.5 lakh registered cooperatives with 29 crore members. 29 crore members. Currently, around 19% of agricultural finance is through the cooperatives. Okay. Now cooperatives are gaining lot of importance. The credit share of cooperatives may increase. Just try to follow this number. Otherwise, you cannot be like, okay, first is commercial bank, next is RRB, last is cooperatives. This may change. But anyhow, it won't change overnight, but just have a careful idea about that number. A full-fledged Ministry of Cooperation was established in July 2021 to provide greater focus to the cooperative sector. You are all aware about this fact. Next point also, you are all aware, computerization of the 63,000 functional PSCS and the preparation of bylaws for enabling PSCS to expand their activities. Bylaws in the sense, rules and regulations. Next one, recently, Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act 2002 was enacted after repealing the Multi-State Cooperatives Act of 1984 to facilitate the democratic functioning and autonomous working of multi-state cooperative societies. As of date, there are 1528 registered societies, multi-state cooperatives. They are regulated by a particular registrar. There is a separate board, registrar. Top 10 states with multi-state cooperative societies. Anyway, this is very, very important. Your Sharad Pawar was a leader of the sugar cooperative societies. So strong in Maharashtra. Maharashtra, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu. New National Cooperation Policy. New National Cooperation Policy. So we have come up with a policy. Strengthening the cooperative movement, deepening its reach to the grassroots, promoting cooperative based economic development. In addition, Government of India decided to introduce Multi-State Cooperative Societies Amendment Bill 2022. It has not passed. The bill seeks to amend the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act 2002 to bring in line with the Part 9B of the Constitution and strengthen the cooperative movement in the country by bringing provisions related to electoral reform, strengthening governance, transparency, reforming the composition, meetings and membership of board, enabling the raising of funds by cooperative sector, strengthening monitoring mechanism, enhancing ease of doing business. You can write all these things on your own. Okay. Food processing sector, the sunrise sector. During the last 5 years, ending with financial year 21, the food processing industry sector has been growing at an average annual growth rate of 8.3%. This number you have to mention in the exam. 8.3. What was yesterday's survey was 2021, no? As per the latest annual survey of industries, 12.2% of persons in the registered manufacturing sector were employed in the food processing sector. Yesterday's survey was, it was I think 2021. That's why it's shown 11. But anyhow, you write 11 to 12%. You know it, okay? So just remember, see, if you read survey, this is the advantage. Okay? Some numbers you can learn easily. 8% growth, 11 to 12% employment. Not of the total employment in the country, in manufacturing. In the total industrial sector, no, that secondary industrial sector, 12%. The value of agri-food exports, including processed food exports, was about 10.9% of India's total exports. Of the total exports, 10%, 10.9, that means almost 11% from this agri-food exports. So they are having a considerable share. So from, if you are writing answer about food processing, you have to make sure that their level of contribution to the GDP, their level of contribution to the employment, their level of contribution to the exports, you have to mention. Challenges. Challenges to the this food processing. Niti Aayog strategy for New India identified the lack of adequate and efficient cold chain infrastructure. You are all aware. So this cold chain is a big problem for this food processing. Okay. Not all the products require food, cold chain, but perishable products definitely requires the cold chain infrastructure. So that is one important thing. Critical supply side bottleneck that leads to the massive post-harvest losses estimated. See, the level of loss because of lack of cold chain infrastructure, how much? 92,561 crores. Okay, this is the level. This is the level. Next, the uneven geographic distribution of cold storage infrastructure also contributed to the regional level disparities. Indian national highways, while accounting for 2% of total road network, carrying 40% of all cargo, exemplifying the burden on the existing road network and potential for congestion, which is detrimental to food transport. So you have to start more Kisan rails, you have to start more Kisan Udan scheme, so that you can transport. Okay. Again, for food processing, the schemes for food processing, promotion of food processing. Pradhana Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana, it was mentioned in the material also, I said it in the class. Prime Minister formalization of micro food processing enterprises scheme. This is not mainly aimed at food processing, but micro food processing, that means those who are working at the village level, small units, so they were going to formalize. One district, one product. Okay, 713 districts with 137 unique products were approved under the ODOP in 35 states or UTs. The production linked incentive scheme for food processing sector, PLI. Krishi Udan, just now I mentioned, Krishi Udan 2.0, fishery, livestock and processed product from the hilly areas, northeastern states and the tribal areas. So by using the aeroplane facility, they can bring. Udan is for regional connectivity, no? Krishi Udan, okay, that facility is for farmers. Remember. Allocation of food grains under National Food Security Act. NFSA, including ICDS and PM Poshan. Okay, they are all including in the same act. How much? 600 lakh tons. That means how many million tons? 60 million tons. 60 million tons. Okay. See, they are providing 60 million tons. They are providing 60 million tons and they are saying like we are providing it to the 80 crore people. Am I right? That means 60 million tons is for 80 crore people throughout the year. Then what about remaining 250 million tons? It is lying waste. I am not saying it is all lying waste. Some private people will purchase it in open. But you must understand the difference between demand and supply. By distributing 60 lakh tons, they are saying like we are distributing it to 80 crore people. Then what extra is required to supply to the remaining people? At least another 60. But what is our total production? 315. Is it clear? We are not doing that much exports, but lot of food. See, just go to that FCI near to that ISR, not IS. What is that? Sarabai. There you have a Food Corporation of India go down. I have seen when I am going in a train. Just go and see, you can understand. Okay, and some bags will be outside also because there is no place to keep it inside. Okay, but anyhow. In a recent decision that you are all aware about the decision, provide free food grains to about 81.35 crore beneficiaries under NFSA for 1 year from January 1, 2023. You can expect it will continue for another 6 months also because elections will be in the month of April, May. Okay. Under this, government will provide 5 kg of food grains per person for the priority households, beneficiaries and 35 kg per households to the Antyodaya Anna Yojana beneficiaries. You are all aware. Okay. To further ease the process of access to the food, government launched a citizen-centric and technology-driven scheme called One Nation, One Ration Card. The One Nation, One Ration Card system enables the intrastate and interstate portability of ration card in any fair price shop of their choice. There is no mandate like you should take here and here. No, of their choice. By using the same ration card after biometric or Aadhaar authentication on electronic point of sale device at the FPS. This device must be there at that fair price shop. It is of choice, intrastate, interstate. Okay. Total food subsidy released by the government, 1000 crores. That means how much? This is 5,29,000 crores. That has reduced to 2,88,000 crores. That's
Amrita IAS Academy.